The unearthed relic. The dust clung to every surface in the tomb. The archaeologist, Dr. Adrian Vada, squatted in the half-collapsed chamber, lantern light casting greasy shadows on carved stone walls. He was a man whose colleagues described him as charming when he wanted to be. But beneath the practiced smile was a trail of swindled investors, unpaid students, and museum donors fleeced for fake discoveries. That night he found something real. A blackened box carved from stone that drank the light around it. Inside, wrapped in a brittle hide, was a book. But it was not leather, it was something tougher, etched with symbols that writhed when he stared at them too long. The pages shimmered faintly, neither parchment nor metal, but a strange in-between. And the first page, an instruction, glowing in faint red. Offer the spark, restore the flesh. The first miracle. Back in Cairo, Adrian tested it. A beggar boy burned in a market fire was dragged to him by his desperate parents. Adrian pressed his palm to the page, whispered the symbols, and the child's skin knitted itself back whole in seconds. The crowd roared. The family wept at his feet. Gold coins spilled into his hands. What Adrian did not tell them, he felt a hammer strangely in his heart, his breath catching in his chest, a faint burning sensation beneath his ribs, as though something had been scorched from within him. But the coins glimmered brighter than any warning. The business of healing. Within weeks he was famous, the miracle man of Cairo. Princes, generals, tycoons all came to him with their injuries, their dying wives, their ailing children. He charged fortunes, growing rich enough to buy a marble villa and keep servants waiting on him hand and foot. Each healing left him thinner, shallow-cheeked, bloodshot eyes, trembling hands. He hid it beneath silk robes and painted smiles. He began refusing the poor. Only those who could pay walked through his doors. Compassion? He sneered once to his secretary. Compassion doesn't put wine in the cellar. And yet, despite these feats, the luxury, he grew weaker. He told himself it was exhaustion, nothing more. But the whispers in the pages. One night, drunk and feverish, Adrian swore. The symbols in the book shifted on their own. They spoke to him in a low, scraping tone. Not words exactly, more like a meaning that forced itself into his skull. Justice through balance. The criminal spark returns to the harmed, debt paid in red. He laughed. Justice? I'm no criminal. But the words stayed within him and gnawed at him. The decline. By the second year, he coughed blood into golden goblets. His skin sagged, gray and waxy, yet he still pressed his palm to the book whenever another noble offered him a chest full of jewels or gold. Behind closed doors, he began to mutter at his reflection. Just one more healing, just one more fortune, then I'll stop. But he never stopped. The public began to whisper. They noticed the healer's victims grew stronger, yes, but Adrian looked worse than the dying patients who came in. Rumors spread that he was cursed, that the book was unnatural. People came to hate him, not because of the miracles, but because he profited while his own body rotted. Then came the revelation. One evening, a group of scholars cornered him in his villa. They deciphered fragments of the symbols carved in the tomb walls. Not prayers, not spells, but instructions. The book, they explained, was no miracle. It was a machine. A living device left by an ancient alien civilization. It was never meant for healing. It was a punishment tool. The criminals were forced to fuel it with their very own life force. Their very souls burned as fuel. The stolen vitality was transferred to the victims or the public, balancing the crimes they had committed. Adrian staggered, sweating, as the scholar spoke. He realized with horror he had been a prisoner all along. Every page he touched was not drawn from the void or mystic energy. It had burned him. His soul was the endless sentence. And now, there was almost nothing left to burn. In the final days, Adrian tried to stop. He locked the book away. But the desperate still came, dragging their dying children, their bleeding wives, offering mountains of gold. Adrian, weak and trembling, always gave in. He could not resist the prophet. On his final night, half blind and skeletal, he healed the warlord's dying son, and the boy sat up laughing. Color flooding back into his cheeks, Adrian collapsed on the floor, choking on ash that poured from his mouth. His skin blackened, the veins glowing red from within, as if though something inside him was burning to cinders. The book fell from his hand. Pages fluttered on their own. The symbols etched the final truth across the air. Sentence complete. Soul expended. Balance restored. The hated name. When the servants found him, there was nothing left but a husk of charred skin. The warlord took the book, swearing to use it for his armies. But across Cairo, and later across the world, people spat at Adrian's name. Not the miracle man, not the great healer, but a greedy fraud who sold pieces of his own soul for coin, until nothing remained. And in the end, no one mourned him. The archaeologist had dug up his own grave the night he had opened the tomb.